If you're an animal lover, you will absolutely adore this book. I guarantee it. The Emperor's Embrace Fatherhood in Evolution by Jeffrey Mason is low-key a beautiful book about parenthood, protection, and development in nature. Before I get into it, I read a wide range of books, so there'll be something for you on this channel. So please like and subscribe and tell us what you think in the comments. My ratings for this book are as follows: usefulness 80, engagement 70, depth 80, accuracy 90, clarity 95, uniqueness 100, book cover 84, overall score 82.22. Look, I'm not an animal person, I'll admit that, which is why this book was a surprise to me. I found it randomly in my house and I decided to give it a go due to its premise. The premise being exactly what it says in the title. Mason cites stories from scientists who study a range of animals. At times it feels like a David Attenborough documentary, in the best way possible. Mason catalogues the lives of numerous animals and the way their genetics, environment, and emotions shape their lives. It was pretty amazing to read the lengths that animal parents will go to feed their young, and that's what I found very special about this book. Like I said, I'm not an animal person. I don't usually read books about animals. I'm not interested in animals really, but I did find this book a fascinating read. At times, I felt like I was a young kid again learning about animals for the first time. To have that feeling as an adult is quite something, especially for someone like myself. I was just taken back to a time in like reception or like year one and nursery where you're first learning about, the basic animals they teach you about, giraffes, lions, tigers, elephants, hippos, and how fun it was to say their names. Also penguins, and penguins, as is seen on the front cover, do get a chapter in this book, and it was a very, very cool chapter. The way Mason portrays the lengths that the fathers go to protect their eggs while the mothers go off to hunt and get food for just months on end is just crazy. Mason does a good job with the penguins and all the other animals in this book of really documenting the life cycle and the fertility cycle also. Mason also describes mating rituals, sexual encounters, and parental structures of numerous animals in this book. He talks to many researchers from around the globe about what humans have been able to gather about animals from observations. What is wild is that Mason regularly reminds the reader that there are numerous animals that we actually don't know much about, mainly because it's so hard for humans to venture into where these animals venture. It could be sea creatures who go to crazy depths of the ocean that we still haven't explored. There's still so much in the Atlantic and Pacific Ocean that we don't know about. So it wasn't surprising to read about that. In The Emperor's Embrace, Mason also touched on some dark sides of nature. There wasn't a lot of it in this book. This is a very light-hearted, feel-good type of book, but infanticide in the animal kingdom was explored, and Mason asked researchers about infanticide in certain animals that he was researching about. Again, even when it comes to infanticide, a lot of cases were rare, but researchers couldn't conclusively rule out that animals don't commit infanticide. And we know of a few who have. Continuing with darker topics in this book, Mason also touched upon animals who don't need fathers. Obviously, as humans, we do, and we've seen what happens when fathers aren't around. Everything pretty much goes to hell. However, when Mason talks about animals such as lions and elephants, the conversation in the animal kingdom is of note here. Now, don't get me wrong, animals such as baby elephants and other animals have way different youth developments than babies and small children. But what is of note are the male and female animal counterparts. For some, but not all, it seemed like to me from this book that if the female is big enough and or strong enough, then that can play a significant role in the dynamic of things. And then also you've got animals like the elephant where it's a matriarchy by nature anyway. Mason also touches on the female animals like the elephant who, like female humans, have a certain affinity for the bad boy, which I found pretty humorous. Male elephant musks are notoriously dangerous and aggressive beasts, and they pose a danger to everyone, not just fellow elephants, as Mason points out in the book. So it makes sense for the most part that female elephants don't want to be around such a creature. Until of course it's time to mate. Then they get their rocks off and then go about their way. What made me laugh about this section when I was reading it was just how similar these kind of things are to humans, to us. Even though we're very complex beings, we all know there's a dynamic in society about women and bad boys and all that good stuff. It appears that evolution does not necessarily care for happiness, as many scientists from Charles Darwin to Richard Dawkins frequently remind us. This quote in the book was what comes to mind, especially when I was thinking about what I just talked about. But I guess it applies to many things in life, including in the animal kingdom. It's a tough, complex life, and that is just the default, I guess. Another chapter I particularly loved was the one about how different fathers in the animal kingdom play with their infants. It was beautifully written, and it reminded me of the joy that comes with being a parent. Now, I'm not one, and I can't wait to be one day. I think it would be great. Challenging, but great. Throughout this book, Mason mentions his ex-wife and his children. They don't take up a lot of space in the book, and Mason keeps their appearances brief, but I like that he would sometimes reflect on how he as a father functioned within his family unit. Again, this is only a small portion of the book. Mason doesn't dump all his personal memories onto the reader. He added a nice personal touch with the amount he shared about his personal life and how even some small things he would do again if he had the chance. I highly recommend this book. It's a quick, light and enjoyable read. I believe it's around 200 pages or so. Trust me, you'll like it. If you like animals, if you want to read more about just different animals around the globe, more about parenthood and fatherhood within the animal kingdom, then definitely pick up this book. Check out my playlist for other book reviews. I guarantee there's something there that you'll like. Please like and subscribe if you haven't. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.